tons of wheel spin, but man, it just, the pull and the power, I mean, this is already miles an hour, highly illegal speeds. They're on. What is up, boys and girls? Welcome back to another installment for Project GR Super Manual. I'm really excited.
I'm jealous.
Zach's a little jelly. I was gonna say Jack's a little jelly. Zach's a little jelly. Words are hard. What are we doing tonight? We are going to be removing my DME, which is the new word for ECU apparently. Mm-hmm. I don't know when that change happened.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I always called it the ECU or the computer.
Same.
And we're going to be shipping it off to Finland to a company called Femto, which is the only company in the entire world that apparently has cracked Bosch's encryption algorithm on these modern ECUs. And why are we doing that? They're going to unlock it and allow me to put tuning software on here and really unlock some of the power potential that this B58 engine has to offer. So Zach's got a little experience with tuned B58s and now a tuned S58.
So the route I took, because I was nervous to send my ECU out to Femto when I had the M240i, I went JB4 like the majority of people. It's good, it's quick, you don't have to send your ECU out. It's not as safe as a real tune. You can't get as much power out of the car. I've seen plenty of people push JB4, but again, it's not a real tune at the end of the day.
It's this a glorified is going to be boost controller.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, pretty much. But it gets the job done. Maybe after this, I'll send my ECU out on the M2. We'll see. I
got 650 miles on it. I did a proper break-in. I trust the engine at this point. I think he
has the special 600-mile warranty that Toyota offers.
Yeah, so I think it's time. But no, I mean, to go along with this, I have a catless downpipe. Mm-hmm. I didn't put it on yet. It's got the titanium catback, which you've been following the series in the carbon Venturi airbox. I'd like to get as close to 500 as possible on the stock turbo. I don't think that's possible on 93. I know you can with E85 or any ethanol blend, but we don't have it readily available here. And I like the convenience of 93 pump, which we have regularly.
Just saying, if you wanted to be a little spicy someday, you could just do like a E40 tune and mix it. It's very simple.
Maybe one day, that might be in the cards.
Just to hit 500, throw it on the dyno, hit your 500, call it a day.
But what I don't want to do is I don't want to take away the low end grunt and the torque that the engine has. So right now, even in stock form, you put your foot down at 3,000 RPM, you have full boost and the car just urges forward. Mm-hmm. You have that low end immediacy, which is something that's a little bit newer to me. My, S54 and the Z4 has some mid-range, but it's still more of a peaky engine. The RX-7 is definitely faster than this, but again, that power is all up top. You have nothing down low. So I really want to keep that, and we'll see how it is, because I haven't driven many big torque two-wheel drive cars. So off-the-shelf tune, we're going to go with MHD Plus. I spoke to CES Motorsports in North Carolina. I bought their hand delivery package, which goes through, I think it's European Auto Center. I'm doing the hand delivery service for this because I don't want to, you could send it there and save money. However, it just seems really sketchy. You can only insure it for $40. You got to write all this like special stuff for customs so they don't take it.
And I think we've all lost packages from every shipping company, whether it's FedEx, DHL, the post office, whatever it is. And that's the last thing you want to go missing.
Normally I'm all for saving money, but like for $400, $500, like versus the headache of having my What do you do? Like, what do you? I don't even know what you do.
I don't
hey,
know.
Toyota.
I lost my ECU.
I lost my ECU. I don't know.
No,
like,
I wasn't sending it out.
Yeah, I took it out and it's gone.
You'd probably have to call BMW, but.
Yeah, probably. Because Toyota probably doesn't know what the hell you're talking about. I just want to avoid that headache altogether if possible. So that's why I'm going this route. After talking to John at CES, it seems like MHD Plus is going to do what I'm looking to do. I want access to the fuel and the ignition maps. A lot of it seems target-based, direct injection tuning. These engines run leaner. And that's just the nature of the fuel spraying in at those PSIs. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think us going in there, we could probably pull 470, 480 at the wheels out of it. But torque will be like 530-ish, maybe even more, which is awesome. So that may be more than enough for this car. I may not need any more than that. Although after driving Felix's car, I'm like, this can definitely take another 100 horsepower easily.
Well, one thing that I actually just read earlier today was that they're putting the S58 injectors in the B58. I don't know how much of a benefit that is or if it's worth doing on a stock turbo, but that's interesting. So
that is interesting. Yeah, I don't know.
Research.
We'll see what happens after this first step. But we're going to walk you guys through how to pull the ECU out real quick, and then we'll pick up once it comes back, and we'll show you the reinstall and getting her up and going. Let's do this.
Like first, you remove this forged carbon fiber cover out of my 45th anniversary 6MT Supra with 600 miles.
Okay, so we got to swim through the sea of weird electronics and forged carbon fiber accents here, but the ECU sits under the cover to the right of the engine. And it just pops off. This reveals all of our harness plugs here. The way to remove these is you push down the tab here, push this forward, and it undoes them. So there's, what's this, 6 altogether. So we can clear these out. Crazy how many pins the plugs there are on this. I'm telling you, I don't think you could fart in these cars without the ECU knowing it. Alright, so with these clear, there's these 2 tabs right here. So we're going to pull these. Actually, Zachary, why don't you come and give me a hand there. I'm going to pull these with one hand and Zach's going to pull up on it for me. You want to just pull up the ECU?
Yeah.
Like it's coming out.
She blows.
And that's it. All right, after 9 full days, my ECU has landed back. And it's definitely my same ECU because I put my name tape to it. So I'm happy about that. Thank you, CES Motorsports and European Auto Source, for getting this there and back safely. So battery's still disconnected. I didn't close my trunk to lock myself out of it. And we're going to reinstall the ECU. It's just the reverse of what we showed you before, clicking these back in and then seating it down into the slot. And then we're going to maybe start doing the MHD on it. First, I'm just going to make sure everything starts and operates as normal. And then I have my MHD wireless adapter, a license key. I think I have to download the software to my phone. I don't know how much of that install I'm going to show you guys because I feel like there's plenty of videos out there on it. But if there's anything worth noting, I will do that. And then we're going to flash the MHD Stage 2 off-the-shelf tune and put my catless downpipe in and really see what this thing does. Okay, so one thing I do want to note, and I've actually read multiple people having this problem where they got the computer back, put it back in the car, and it wouldn't start. And it ended up being because they didn't have the ECU connections properly seated. And I knew enough to check them, and I thought that they were clicked, and I started pulling up on them, and sure enough, they weren't fully seated in. So here's what I did to get them seated properly. Start closest to the bulkhead of the car with all the rest out, because the first time I did it, I started with front of the car to the rear, and it's something the way that this clip articulates, they hit on the ones in front of them. So start at the back, push it down firm, and then click it, and then try pulling up on it. That's how I knew that I didn't have them seated. I pulled up on it, they came right out. But you should be able to pull up on every one of these and make sure that it's seated. You don't need to kill it in there, but what's more important is that this latch can rotate to click into place without interfering with the plug in front of it. So that's why you start at the rear and work your way to the front. All right, so not MHD, but the ECU back in the car, fired right up, no codes, no nothing weird. Drove it out the garage and right onto the lift bay. We pulled out the stock catted downpipe, which weighed in at 11.1 pounds. And I'm going to be replacing it with this Project Gamma ceramic coated catless downpipe, and this weighed in at 6.7 pounds. So it was a 4.4 pound weight savings, which is something. Putting the Supra somewhere around 3350 or 3360 if my memory serves me right. There's a lot of catless downpipes out there, and maybe this is just in my head, but looking at the designs of them, I went with the Project Gamma because they kept it wider all the way down to the flex section, and then they don't taper down to the very end here, where a lot of them start to taper up top. How much does that do? I don't really know, but I feel like it has to do something for all the hot gas that's immediately escaping the turbo. But again, we are all bottlenecking these down to 81 mil is what the outlet is to all the exhaust. So I don't know. It's going to be faster, and it should be pretty good. The bronze looks nice on it. And yeah, let's throw this in. As far as removing the downpipe, there's a million videos on how to do it. I started from the top in the engine bay, disconnected the V-band, or loosened the V-band, but I cracked the O2 sensors loose before I did anything, then disconnected the V-band, and then we just worked our way down. Disconnected the bracket and the bottom of the exhaust, and then finagled it out. So hopefully putting this new guy in won't be too bad, because I don't have to deal with the same bracket. This doesn't use it, probably because it's lighter. And off we go. All right, boys and girls, that is the complete MHD flash tuning install and catless downpipe. We forgot to get shots of the downpipe installed on the lift, so I do apologize for that. There's not much to see. You guys have already seen the full SAR titanium exhaust, which that's really the highlighting point of the car when you're underneath there. Loading the MHD was really easy. I just followed the supplied instructions. I downloaded the app on my phone, connected to the dongle in the car, and did the flash from there. Everything went smoothly, didn't have any error codes or check engine lights or anything. The only tip that I would leave you guys with is just make sure that you have a full charge on your battery. I had mine in on a tender when I did the flash tuning. We're going to be releasing a street impression video, which you guys saw at the very beginning of this. That was our clips from that, and I talk more about the differences in power over the stage 2 plus tuning versus stock. And you know, I'll just say, I'll leave you with the cliff, is that it's definitely a noticeable bump. Is it rock your socks off in your face like fast? No, but it's much faster than stock, which is, I guess that's a good thing. And the maps seem to be pretty safe. You don't have to worry about any issues with them, running them off the shelf. The Supra is a great chassis. You can easily tell that this thing could take another 100 horsepower, no problem. But I think we're starting to get to what the limitations are of 93 octane with the stock compression ratio and the stock turbocharger. So I may look and see if there's things that can be done to tune this and get a little bit more out of the 93. Like I said, the goal would have been great to have this thing as close to 500 at the wheels as possible. The MHD Stage 2 Plus with all the breather mods typically seems to be about 460 at the wheels on a manual transmission car. So we'll just say it's about there, and torque is a little bit over 500. I mean, there's definitely plenty of torque, and it's immediate up and go, which is really nice. Very different from anything else that I own, where the engine has to build power, build boost. It's more peakier. You know, have a lot of peaky powertrains going on here. So that's it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will have the last few videos coming out soon for Project GR Supra. I know this has been a long, drawn-out process, but we're just wrapping up the finish line. And then we have a lot more things to show and a lot of updates coming for the rotary Miata, which is, you know, clearly this is now back. Project RX-8, which is getting turbocharged, but needs a motor now before the turbo went in. These are all little spoilers. There's my cart with all my turbo parts for it. So there's gonna be a bunch of videos coming out with that. This is my brother's 335i that he just did a single turbo on. And I'll flash something really quick if you're still watched this far in the video, because we have a whole other build car coming to the project. There it is. So we'll talk about that more down the road. That is it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you all in the next one. Good night. There. Such a quick car. My Manta.